The earliest account of alien abduction was documented in 1957 in Mexico, although it does not refer to gray aliens specifically. Antonio Villas Boas recounted a story of his abduction and subsequent sexual intercourse with a humanoid alien. The alien that allegedly abducted Boas was a humanoid in a gray jumpsuit with small blue eyes. The description of the gray alien that we are familiar with today is of a very thin and light creature with a large hairless head and remarkably large oval eyes. The nose is almost non-existent and the mouth is a slit that does not appear to have any function. Apparently, gray aliens communicate telepathically with each other. Their arms are long, reaching below the knees, and with 4 delicate fingers of uneven length. Their height is reported to be between 3 and 6 feet. The closest resemblance to this gray alien prototype is found in the account of Betty Hill. This was in 1961, and Betty and her husband, Barney Hill, were on their way to New Hampshire. They arrived home with a few hours missing from their memories. Subsequently, they began to suffer from insomnia and nightmares during whatever sleep they could manage, and had to seek medical help. The story of their abduction emerges from sessions of hypnotic regression that Betty Hill went through. Even though her story is classed with other accounts of alien abduction, Betty insisted that it had been more of a meeting. The aliens that she described were dressed in something resembling military suits. They looked similar to human beings with only slightly larger eyes and bald heads. When shown the typical image of the gray alien as we know them in popular culture, Betty said that that was not what the aliens she had seen looked like. Travis Walton of Arizona, who was allegedly abducted in 1975, describes his captors as having very large, completely bald heads, not at all in proportion to their thin body, and with very prominent, somewhat feline eyes. Their fingers were delicate in the feel of their body. Travis apparently pushed one of them away, was soft, light, and spongy. He also notes that their mouths did not move and yet they seemed to communicate with each other. The description of the gray alien that we are familiar with may not conform exactly to what alleged witnesses talk about, but certain things are common in all stories. The aliens could control their victims' minds, and most witnesses remember feeling extremely vulnerable and unable to move on their own when under their influence. The image may be a combination of witness accounts, pop culture, and artistic liberties, but the paranormal powers of the gray alien do not appear to be a matter of debate. Similarly, the primary purpose of these abductions seem to be taking blood and tissue samples, what we know today as genetic sampling. In certain cases, victims report invasive examination of their genitals. There are several stories that speak of forced sexual intercourse with aliens, as also between captured humans, while the aliens stood around and observed as if taking notes. If we are to assume these accounts have some truth in them, then one logical conclusion would be that the gray aliens are interested in humans for some sort of experiment on interspecies reproduction, to create a new hybrid race perhaps. This hypothesis is further strengthened by the alleged Dulce firefight incident. Phil Schneider, an engineer who worked for the US government, was in a team that was sent to Dulce, New Mexico to carry out some blasting procedures to create a top-secret underground construction. Schneider, in a series of lectures in 1995, recounted that his team chanced upon a large colony of aliens living underground. There was an armed confrontation, and among almost 40 Secret Service agents, FBI personnel, and engineers who faced the aliens, only 3 returned alive. Schneider, one of the survivors, suffered an injury from an alien weapon. However, the more relevant part of his story is where he speaks about a secret treaty between the US government in 1954, during the Eisenhower administration, and the aliens. The aliens were, according to Schneider, granted rights to experiment on animals and some human subjects in exchange for advanced technology that would be given exclusively to the United States. These appear to be gray aliens who later refused to conform to the treaty and began wanton experiments on humans and even used human beings, babies particularly, for food. There is no way to confirm if Schneider was telling the truth since he was found dead under very questionable circumstances in January 1996, 7 months after he publicly recounted his story. All his lecture notes and documents were reported stolen. There are also stories of men in black suits, apparently from a US government agency, visiting people claiming alien abduction or contact and forbidding them to talk publicly about their experience. Conspiracy theorists claim that Roswell was where the aliens first crash landed on Earth, and witnesses did report government agencies removing debris and non-human bodies from the spot. There is also the claim that reverse engineering the technology that was found in the crashed spaceship is what helped in creating semiconductors. Fiber optic technology may be another scientific breakthrough with a similar origin. There are quite a few theories about gray aliens and their alleged interest in experimenting on humans. According to author Nigel Kerner, the Greys are a race of biologically created robots that outlived the advanced race of aliens that created them. Now, they are looking to harvest human souls to complete themselves. The predominance of violence, corruption, and moral degradation in present-day society he attributes to gray alien manipulation because we are most vulnerable when we degrade ourselves. Dr. Carla Turner's documentation of the rather distressing activities of gray aliens is in support of the theory that they were always the custodian of our race and offered humans as test subjects to other alien species. Apparently, we are something akin to lab rats for the Greys and their alien friends. After Dr. Turner's theory was made public, curiously enough, there appeared quite a few champions of the gray aliens who alleged that the Greys were benevolent creatures who were always looking out for the human race. They would not interfere because humans must be allowed to evolve on their own. One such person is Nancy Leiter, who has spoken of several prophecies of impending destruction of the Earth because of the shifting of the tectonic plates. Fortunately, not a single prophecy has come true, but Nancy maintains that she is in contact with these nurturing aliens and the prophecies are true, only their timing may be a little off. Nancy seems to believe in what she says, and there is no evidence to show that she makes any money out of espousing her beliefs. Betty Hill recalled a map, a star chart, that the aliens had shown her, and she was able to reproduce it on paper. Experts handling her case were able to match the star of the aliens' home as Zeta Reticuli, hence the name Zeta, also attributed to gray aliens. She also drew certain other stars, the existence of which were confirmed much later using powerful telescopes. It is difficult to come to a firm conclusion about the existence or nature of gray aliens, but as Shakespeare wrote, "When these prodigies do so conjointly meet, let not men say, these are their reasons." There are simply too many independent sightings and witness accounts that speak of similar encounters, not to mention the numerous and questionable cover-ups by the government. It may not be wise to be dismissive of the gray alien presence amidst us, or believe that humans are the only intelligent species the universe ever cared to create. If you enjoy this video and want to see more like it, please consider subscribing to us and hitting the like button. Feel free to write a comment below and suggest which theory you want to see next. If you'd like to further support this channel, please consider joining. Our membership link will be found in the description box below. We appreciate your support, and as always, thanks for watching.